What if I told you the invisible enemy inside your mind is the reason for your sleepless nights, your failing health, and even your broken relationships? Tonight, you'll uncover the shocking truths about stress that schools, doctors, and even your own mind have kept hidden from you. Imagine your brain, the control center of your entire life, physically shrinking, losing memory, creativity, and even your emotions. Chronic stress releases a flood of cortisol, and this chemical actually causes your brain's hippocampus to shrink. It's like slowly deleting your own life files, one emotion at a time. But here's the shocking part. Scientists found that the brain damage caused by stress can even pass to your children genetically before they're even born. Stress is more addictive than cigarettes. You've heard of nicotine and drugs causing addiction, but stress? Studies show that high-stress individuals develop a chemical dependency on cortisol, making them crave the very situations that destroy them. Your brain gets addicted to chaos. The cruel twist: your brain will sabotage peaceful situations just to feed its stress addiction, even destroying your own happiness on purpose. Stress can be contagious. Stress isn't just personal, it's social. Just by watching someone stressed, your body starts to mimic their anxiety. Your brain releases cortisol without even knowing why. One person's misery silently infects an entire room, like an invisible virus. A single stressed person can influence the heart rate, hormones, and emotions of strangers, even if they never spake to them. You've already been a victim without realizing. Stress changes your DNA. This isn't science fiction. Stress leaves a chemical scar on your DNA, changing how your genes express themselves and even which diseases you're prone to. Generations of trauma can be passed down, not by stories, but biologically. That means your great-grandparents' worst day could be the reason for your depression, anxiety, and health problems today. Stress can kill you silently. You might think heart attacks only strike when you're old or unhealthy, but stress triggers something called silent heart attacks. No chest pain, no warning. Many people have had one without ever knowing. Over 30% of sudden deaths under age 50 are linked to unrecognized stress-related heart failure. Stress makes you age faster. Ever wonder why some people look older than they are? Stress speeds up cellular aging by destroying your telomeres, the protective caps on your DNA. Every stressful moment can take months, even years off your life. Scientists have found that some people in their 30s have the cells of a 70-year-old, all because of daily, invisible stress. Stress can cause memory loss. Have you ever walked into a room and forgotten why? Stress attacks the hippocampus, the part of your brain responsible for memory. High-stress lives can erase cherished moments, making you forget the very things you value most. Long-term stress can mimic the early stages of Alzheimer's, tricking you into believing you're simply forgetful. Stress can weaken your immune system. Stress doesn't just make you feel tired, it tells your immune system to stand down. Even small wounds heal slower, and common colds last longer. Your body is defenseless under chronic stress. Cancer cells thrive in stressed environments, meaning stress could be feeding the very disease you fear most. Stress can affect your relationships. Stress rewires your emotional brain, making you less patient, less compassionate, and more reactive. You stop seeing people as loved ones and start seeing them as threats. Stress destroys trust and love without a single word being spoken. Most divorces, breakups, and even family estrangements aren't caused by incompatibility, but by untreated, unspoken stress. Stress can make you forget who you are. The most terrifying fact of all, long-term stress doesn't just harm your health, your mind, or your heart. It erodes your self-identity. You stop recognizing the person in the mirror. Your hobbies vanish. Your joy fades. Your dreams dissolve. Stress strips away your soul piece by piece. The final stage of extreme stress is emotional numbness. You feel nothing, no pain, no happiness, just an empty void, until it's too late. Stress destroys your body's master switch, the hormonal system. Imagine your body as a finely tuned machine, a masterpiece designed to keep you balanced and alive. Every single process, from your heartbeat to your immune defense, relies on precise hormonal signals, your body's master switch. But stress is the uninvited guest who storms in and flips those switches at random. Your cortisol levels spike, your adrenaline stays elevated, and your body remains locked in a survival loop, even when there's no threat. This constant hormonal chaos leaves your immune system confused, your digestion stalled, and your heart racing without cause. People spend their lives thinking they're sick, chasing symptoms, taking pills, all while the real culprit, stress, quietly pulls the strings behind the scenes. Most people treat the symptoms, but the truth is, stress isn't just a passenger. It's the hidden driver, and by the time you realize it, it might already have rewritten your biology for good. Stress programs you to repeat your mistakes. When we face danger, the brain is supposed to learn, to protect us from future harm. But stress doesn't just warn you about danger. It hardwires your brain into an endless loop of fear. The prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for decision-making, slowly loses power under constant stress. Instead, your primal brain, the one designed to survive animal attacks and cave collapses, takes over. The result? You stop learning, you stop growing, and worst of all, you start repeating the same mistakes over and over, like a broken record. You stay in toxic relationships, you cling to bad habits, and you call it fate. But it's stress, silently chaining you to your past. Stress doesn't just ruin your future. It manipulates your past until even your memories become your prison. Stress is the ultimate relationship killer. Love, connection, friendship. These are the treasures of life, but stress is the silent thief that steals them one by one. When you're stressed, your brain produces less oxytocin, the very chemical that helps you bond, trust, and connect with people. Conversations become arguments. Smiles fade into suspicion. The people you once loved begin to feel like strangers. Worst of all, stress convinces you it's their fault, when in reality, the monster lives in your own mind. Friendships dissolve, families break, lovers drift apart. And the scariest part, you may never even realize stress was the invisible hand pulling every string. Most relationships don't end with betrayal. They die slowly, starved of connection, suffocated by stress. Stress can make you addicted to chaos. Some people live their lives moving from one disaster to another, like moths drawn to flames. You might think it's bad luck, poor choices, or even fate, but it's deeper than that. Stress creates a chemical rush in your brain, a blend of adrenaline and cortisol so addictive, your mind starts seeking chaos even when life is calm. You subconsciously start fights, miss deadlines, avoid peace, because your brain has learned to crave the thrill of survival. Stress becomes a drug, and normal life feels dull and lifeless without it. What if the drama in your life isn't random, but a self-made addiction fueled by stress, one you never realized you were feeding? Stress can hide behind success. We're taught to believe success means happiness, peace, and security. But for many, success is a mask that stress wears. Some of the world's wealthiest, most admired people carry crushing stress beneath polished smiles and fancy titles. They chase goals not out of passion, but out of fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of not being enough. Their achievements become trophies in a war against their own self-worth, not celebrations of joy. Behind every perfect Instagram post, behind every proud promotion, might lie a broken soul, battling stress in silence while the world claps. Stress shrinks your brain. Literally. Most people think stress is temporary, a mental state, a bad day, or just feeling low. But science proves the damage goes deeper. Chronic stress physically shrinks the hippocampus, the part of your brain responsible for memory and learning. With every stressful day, your ability to think clearly, solve problems, and even remember who you are begins to fade. The more you allow stress to control your life, the more of yourself you lose. Piece by piece, neuron by neuron. Stress doesn't just cloud your mind. It erases it, leaving behind a shell of the person you once were. Stress doesn't end with you. It's genetic. You might think your stress is yours alone to carry, but here's a chilling truth. Stress changes your DNA. Studies have shown that chronic stress rewires your genetic code and passes that trauma down to your children and even your grandchildren. Long before they're born, your offspring inherit the emotional battles you never resolved. The fears you refuse to face don't vanish. They travel through bloodlines, shaping lives before they even begin. The stress you carry today might be the nightmare your children live tomorrow. Stress can turn reality into illusion. Stress is more than just an emotion. It warps your entire perception of the world. When the body is under stress, the mind begins to misinterpret neutral situations as threats. Kindness looks suspicious. Safety feels temporary. Joy seems like a trap. You live your life wearing fear-tinted glasses, blind to the beauty around you, convinced danger is hiding behind every corner. Even if the sun is shining right above your head, the world hasn't become darker. Stress has just dimmed your vision. Stress tricks you into accepting less. At first, stress makes you anxious, then it makes you tired, and eventually, it breaks your spirit. Once that happens, you stop fighting for what you deserve. You settle for less. Less love, less respect, less success, less happiness. You convince yourself you're being realistic. But the truth is, stress has quietly stolen your ambition. It turns dreams into distant memories and convinces you that surviving is enough. Most people don't quit because life is hard. They quit because stress made them forget life could be beautiful. Stress is the silent killer of purpose. The human soul is designed for meaning. We all need purpose, but stress is the slow poison that robs you of it. When stress becomes constant, it creates a numbness so deep that nothing feels worth the effort. You stop searching for your passion. You stop chasing your goals. You stop asking why, and start living on autopilot. trapped in a life that no longer feels like your own. The most tragic death isn't of the body, it's the silent death of purpose. And stress is often the unseen murderer. Now you know, stress is more than just an emotion. It's the invisible architect of broken dreams, the master thief of human happiness, and the silent destroyer of lives. But here's the good news. Knowledge is the first weapon. Today, you've seen the enemy face to face. Now the question is, will you let stress write your story? Or will you take the pen back? Tell me honestly, has stress stolen a part of your life too? Share your story in the comments. Let's expose the enemy together. And if you believe this truth can help change someone's life, hit that subscribe button right now. Join the Mind Control family, and finally know who you are.